Hey guys, welcome and thank you for tuning into this video. As the nomination committee, you have an important responsibility this time around, because we're not just choosing leaders for next year or the 2 years, we're choosing deacons for the next 3 years. And so the people that you select as deacons, they are going to have a big responsibility in supporting the church, caring for people, promoting unity. And since this is the first time our church is choosing deacons, I think it's really important to understand what to look for. And so before we begin, I want to make sure and remind all of us that, prayer is foundational. Prayer is the most important thing that you can be doing at this point, and throughout this entire process. And so just to start off with, I think Acts 6 is a good starting place. I preached on it a few weeks ago, but Acts 6 is the beginning of deacons in the church. And so if you recall, the early church, they had this big problem. They were facing this practical challenge about needing people to serve the widows who are not being given their fair share of the food. And so the apostles, what they did was they created this new role, this new office of the deacon. And they said, choose 7 men from among you who are known to be full of spirit and wisdom. And so the qualities that we are looking for is spirit and wisdom. And so what this means is that when you're full of the Spirit, you're full of God's Holy Spirit, and it means that you are showing a life guided by the Holy Spirit. They show the fruit of the Spirit that's found in Galatians 5, love, joy, love, patience, kindness, faithfulness, all those things, and not just on Sundays, but in everyday life. And then being full of wisdom means wisdom is more than intelligence, is being able to see things from God's perspective, making thoughtful decisions, acting with humility. And part of being wise means knowing that you don't know everything. It means being humble and teachable, because service is all about meeting needs. It's not about status. It's not about recognition. And so we need to, like the apostles, we're looking for people who are full of spirit and wisdom. And then I think in 1 Timothy 3:10, we can tell, it gives us a little bit of guideline for people. How can we tell if someone is full of spirit and wisdom? So 1 Timothy 3:10 says they must first be tested. Now, what this means is not a testing like a formal written test, but it simply means that they have a proven track record. And so we're not looking for someone who has the potential to grow into this position. We're looking for a candidate who has already shown themselves to be wise, to be humble, to be willing to serve, to be willing to learn. And so even in our CM policy and our bylaws, we have this clause or this condition that they have to have been a member of good standing for at least 2 years. And so that time requirement of 2 years means that it's not someone who is a new believer, but it's someone who has shown themselves to be, someone who has shown themselves to have a serving heart already. Because the best deacons are those who have already shown, they've already shown by their lives that they love people, they care for the church's unity, and they're already serving in different ways. They don't need the recognition because they already have the heart to serve. And so just as a takeaway, as you consider nominees, we want people who combine godly character, spiritual maturity, and that proven reliability, that track record that they've already exhibited. And so please ask yourself, in accordance with 1 Timothy 3:10 and Acts 6, who in our church, who of the members demonstrate humility, wisdom, spirit-led service that we can trust? Who has that proven track record? And so these are the people that God is calling to serve as deacons. And so let's continue to pray for wisdom, for discernment, and humility to follow God's guidance as we make these important decisions. Thanks.